Alright, so here I am playing my first real match of this tournament for the round 128. In the last round I played a guy one game and then he disappeared. So I don't really know if he didn't know the format or connection problems or whatever, but he never got back in contact with me, so that was it. So for this game, looks like a pretty good mission turn. I take that back, it's not that great for mission. So anyway, there are all the pieces to do a draw engine, and so we're gonna go for that. I guess the only question is whether you open militia or black market. I think I'm going to go with the militia, but I will buy a black market later, most likely. He's got the 5-2, which is great. I would go ahead and take the butcher. Here I've got either collision or both miss. Collision I was okay, like this is fine. Butcher opening's quite nice. See how many cards he trashes his chapel. He might have had collision too if he's, well, I'm not sure. Either way, there's not really much to think about. So he's in a great shape. He got to trash 4. And here I'll trash 4. So I'll be alright. I'm going to have 6 in my next hand. His butcher missed, so that's really good for me. Since he has a butcher, he can take this city quarter early on because he can just he can continue to gain and play things with the butcher, so it's not quite so, or really it's not at all detrimental necessarily to him. This should be estate into, I would do silver at this point, but he could do black market or militia. Either one. I think I'll probably pick up a city quarter here. Then it could be a market, I guess. It's not totally crazy, but this is a great draw for me. I'll finish trashing here. And then I guess I could just trash a couple and buy a black market. This might be a little bit greedy to not trash the last copper, but he's gonna be paying off debt for a while still. I mean, he'll get most of it paid off this turn, I guess. I do need a butcher. So he still has two coppers. You want to pay the debt off with the coffer, yeah, because if you want to play your black market next turn. You need to do that. If I don't find anything nice from the I don't really care about these. The Great Robert could do some work here. They're not especially good. I can do stonemason for 2 markets, or market and butcher. Yeah, I'd rather do the stonemason. I think here I'm pretty happy with the terminal count right now. Hopefully we draw. I mean, Lighthouse would be nice here. I guess he's going to stonemason as well. Obviously the best thing there would have been to find the city quarter, but we didn't, so. I think I'm just going to play the militia and buy a city quarter this turn. Unfortunately, I guess it means my next black market play can't possibly buy anything, but we're going to have to buy these city quarters at some point. I like getting the attack in. It's not great to so I'm gonna check my money here. I might want to leave the, I guess I get a stonemason if I play the market, and otherwise I don't. And I can also, well, I don't know that I would trash any of this stuff at this point. So like I could chapel the stonemason since I'm gonna buy a new stonemason, or get a new stonemason. That's pretty reasonable. Since I think I'll have enough 2s anyways. Can't buy these. I'm not going to take the city quarter there because I would like a shot at. That was a good draw for him. I would like a shot at buying something from the black market. If one of my top 2 cards is not a city quarter, I'm going to be, well, there's another market left, so not necessarily strictly top 2, but if I don't find a city quarter at this start here, I'm going to be quite sad. We are going to 3-pile here, I think. Markets will run, and then stonemasons will always be an option, and then estates will be a possibility at some point. You cannot buy any of this stuff. We'll see if he keeps going into debt or if he Okay, so he's not going to have debt this time. I don't think he'll buy another city corner. Alright, so this turn is fine. Oh, not quite fine. That's pretty disappointing, I guess. I mean, it's okay. I feel like I should keep attacking him. The question then is whether I want to buy a play a black market or not, or just buy another city quarter. Butcher a chapel into a black market and buy another city quarter is an okay turn. The other option, of course, is to get the rest of these markets, which is not, I don't think that's a huge deal. It is a little bit nice for the end game control. But other than that, it's not a super huge deal. He still has 2 coppers. Apparently I've decided to go with this since it's what I clicked on. We could mission. Which will let us pay off debt and maybe rack up a little more do a little bit of trashing and possibly butcher something, get some coin tokens, but we should be able to pay off the debt. We won't buy anything, of course, but this is assuming we draw, which is not a guarantee, but it's a pretty good odds of it at this point. I guess I want a second butcher more than a second black market. Well, I could have done the silver, of course. I don't know if there's any nice gain in play to do a stonemason here. I guess I could. Yeah, that's kind of nice. I'm glad I realized that before clicking all the way through here. I'm relatively pleased with that turn. It wasn't the best. I'm sure there's better things you could do on that turn. He's drawing well despite the sort of the lack of trashing. None of those are very good. I will get a chance to buy and play something for the black market on my turn. In theory, I can get this copper up to, I can either trash this copper to stonemason, or I can play a couple butchers and upgrade it to something. It's not too crazy to have like catacombs. I continue to be glad that he's not hitting me with militias at all. I assume he'll buy a city quarter, though he could stonemason for something. No, he mission. Oh, he's doing the thing I did. Well, I hope he doesn't draw a city quarter in hand. Though he'll still probably achieve his goals of paying off the debt and stuff. City quarter could empty over the next few turns. Okay, he didn't find a city quarter, that's nice. He does pick up a militia now. He is just enough money to pay off debt. He loses all his coffers. Catacombs could be a nice tool for 3 piling, potentially. We know he's got city quarters in this hand now. So that's something. I don't know how high of a price point I feel like I need to get up to here. I'll be able to draw whatever, but what I'm referring to is how many markets to play before I play the militia and then the black market if I want to be able to hit a 7. I mean, that's not crazy. Oh, I have the copper too, so I didn't have to necessarily play that last one, but these are okay. The bandit is kind of nice. The upgrade is not as nice. The bandit, of course, just for the purposes of getting golds. Really. Anyway, the bandit is like clearly the best thing here, I think. So I'm gonna get it. Which means we won't play one of the butchers this turn. Well, we could play both the butchers, but probably not. We need a city quarter. I was thinking of just saving the tokens. I'm not sure I have a profitable stonemason exchange to make at this point. I don't have enough coffers, so that, well, I couldn't buy from black market anyway. So. Okay, this is great. We will score a little bit here. Not quite sure how much exactly. Of course, we can stonemason one of the golds for. I don't know what I would stonemason for at this point. Probably a council room catacombs. Can also just trash the copper, gain a couple provinces. I don't think there's like a finish. I mean, of course, I can convert the militia into more things with the stonemason. I kind of like killing the copper. I don't think it's doing much for me. Obviously, I could increase my economic output. I could get silvers and stuff, but it's not like a... it doesn't really help me. Do I want 2 provinces now? It does make the 3 pile next turn a little easier if I'm not having to worry about scoring. The bandit was a real nice pull. Really nice pull. Especially with mission, it's sort of crazy good. If he didn't have a militia, which he does now, I would draw a deck for sure. But since I don't, I'm going to have a little bit of a... it'll be pretty sensitive to what 2 cards I draw off the first city quarter play. If they're both actions, I'll probably make it. If they're not, then it's going to be a little bit harder. This first game is taking a long time. Of course, it's kind of complicated. I'm playing the end of my turn slowly because I'm trying to think. This is a pretty easy discard. Those are all... well, if he can get to the Enchantress this turn, it helps him a decent amount. I'll just play the Market, of course, as a pig, but... if he can draw and play the Enchantress this turn, it could be... potentially quite painful for me. Though possibly harmless, or relatively harmless. So we'll see what he decides to do. Definitely pig plus militia on this board is quite good. I mean, if you could have it from the start, it would be pretty brutal. As far as how it affects the city quarters. I just have 2 non-action cards, but if one of them's on top of my deck, then my turn's going to be considerably worse. So, I assume he can draw and play it. He'll have to not play one of his other terminals, I guess, but he can do it. Fortunately, I do have this somewhat of a cushion here. Well, he doesn't even have to play this turn necessarily. If he does the militia, he gets a fairgrounds. That's pretty terrible. Yeah, he could have bought the enchantress and then done a mission turn again. The game's not going to last that long for fairgrounds to be very good. It just won't. We're already not that far from a 3 pile because of butcher, so we'll see. But I think he has to get the enchantress. Well, I mean, he doesn't have to get the enchantress, but the fairgrounds is not helping him. It's not even worth as much as a duchy. I mean, he's probably not too far from 10. Well, he might be pretty far from 10 because we haven't bought that many cards from the black market. Anyway, stonemason overpay is always going to be a thing I can do to finish the game. Yeah, I mean, if he's doing mission city quarter again, he definitely should have got the enchantress. Because then on this turn, he doesn't really care to play all the terminals, or on all the black markets at least, since they're just silvers. He'd still have enough economy to pay off the debt, and he'd get in a pretty brutal attack. So I think that's a pretty big mistake on his part. Fortunately for me, I have this points lead, so I don't even have to do like the estate pile out necessarily. I can just do the stonemason city quarter kind of thing, pile out. I don't know if the mission turn will actually come into being useful, or if I'll have enough money. I don't need that much money really. I only need $8 and 3 buys and butchering one of the city quarters, so it should be pretty easy. Not to mention there's some other plays I can do to speed it up a little bit. So I think it'll probably be if I draw, it'll be an easy pile out. So I'm not worried about that part of it. It's just whether I draw or not. He's got all this money, but it doesn't matter here. Alright, this will draw through because there's no provinces in here, so well, that one hurts a little bit, but this still should draw through. Or close enough anyway. I don't need a whole lot of stuff, like I said. I had to save that city quarter because I gotta butcher city quarter into itself. I guess I could do that twice, maybe. I don't know if I have the draw for that, but certainly I can empty the stonemasons in the city quarters now pretty easily. I didn't have enough draw for it, but that's fine. Already have the $8, so I don't really care about this part of it so much. I don't want to have blown this, but I don't think I did. so that was one for me. Just a second. This one does just have butcher, but it's got butcher and fortress and rats, which is quite a thing, and it's got donate, which is quite a thing. And it's got a lot of stuff going on, like a huge amount of stuff. I could do the turn 1 donate to buy butcher turn 3. As always, that's a little bit sensitive to some sequence stuff, but well, to drawing the butcher on turn 4, really. Well, it's not even that big of a deal, actually. You just buy a rat. Buy rats or maybe donate again or something. So he buys a fortress. I think I am going to try the turn 1 donate here. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it's one way to do it. We will just find out. Whether this goes fast or not. Probably not, since he's going to get to donate this turn. And have the butcher and the fortress in hand. I mean, if he didn't hit his butcher turn 5, it's a little different. Or turn 3. It's a little bit different, but as it is, he's in great shape. I have to decide if I want a fortress or rats. There are advantages and disadvantages to both. Main advantage to the rats, of course, is the eventual, my favorite thing in the world, the eventual rats 3 pile, which is the cutest thing you can do in Dominion. So we didn't get collision here. He should just get another fortress. Yeah. So the next turn he can do some stuff. Do some exciting stuff. This is a nice he's ahead of me. Mine has a more lower bound. I mean, mine has a fixed bound on how bad it can be, in the sense that you're gonna draw on turn 3 and stuff. And he's a turn. Well, he's not necessarily a turn slower, but he's a little bit slower if he doesn't find the butcher on the, or doesn't buy the butcher on turn 3, because he can't donate until he buys a butcher. Swamp Hag is like super cruddy here. It just does essentially nothing. If there's a copper, I'll be sad. It is a copper. So I guess it doesn't do nothing, right? Because I just got hit by it. That was me opening my big mouth. But I'm gonna take the rats here. So the Swamp Hag didn't do nothing. It's way worse than like a second butcher, but I may lose this one. I mean, it doesn't look good for me at this point. Of course, there's something to be said to just super fast milling provinces here, which he might be headed towards. He should get a second butcher. A charm I don't especially care for. It's fine. I mean, it's fine. It really is okay. Here the buy and the gaining are not especially different. Buy is additional flexibility, really. I may donate on my turn. Not sure yet. That Lost City will help me out a little bit. I do need a second butcher. He buys a jester, okay. Jester I don't especially care for. I'm still totally way super behind here. He should have a second butcher, but it's okay if he doesn't. Now he does. That's quite nice for him. I mean, obviously it worked out. Here the charm can save him a little bit of money if he wants to go that route. So I feel like I have to start like angling for the rats pile out. Though if he realistically, if he gets much more stuff, I'm just like totally sunk anyway. It maybe could have, should have been second. Of course, I can donate. Which opens up some plays. I could just stay in debt the rest of the game, to be honest. Maybe. His deck still has a lot of good stuff in it. Like, it's not even close to being bad, unfortunately. The Rat's Pilot is especially easy here because you don't even have to, like, you can hold green in your deck still. The fortresses got pretty low here. We'll see what he takes. So he empties fortresses, so that's interesting. I don't know if I have enough draw to chain the butcher gains. Well, yeah, I do have enough draw because I can rats through it to some degree. What I don't know is if I have enough actions. That's the real issue. I could probably do it next turn if I add an action. But otherwise, that's going to be tough. I might be able to tie, which I would probably be willing to do at this point. He can probably win on his turn. So I have, maybe I have enough. One problem is that I have to do the Rat's Pile first. I think the issue is going to be draw. Draw and points. I can buy a duchy, that's okay. Does he have Swamp Hag down? No, okay. But I'd probably have to buy a butcher. 5 actions. I can gain it. It's the draw that's going to be tough. Do I just empty the rats now and go for it? I don't really know if I have the actions to make it happen. Five terminals. That's 5 butcher gains in plays. Really is the draw. I got 4 overdraw, I guess. Sort of. Maybe a little extra. Trashing rats isn't really extra draw because you just get the same. Let's just go for it. I don't know that it works, but okay, so there's a rats in the discard. might have done this in an incorrect order, I don't know. It's unfortunate that I never got any arena points prior to this. Oh, this is fine. No, wait, it's not quite fine, is it? I'm not gonna have I mean, I can tie. Maybe there was a way to do it. I think maybe I was just a card short. I don't know. But I can tie. So unfortunately, I didn't get, because I don't have a card to gain for the last butcher. I maybe should have just waited. I don't know if he was going to find a finish on his turn or not. At this point, a tie is as good as a win for me. More or less. There may have been a finish. I don't know if I screwed something up in the order there. Again, I could have waited to see if he had to have had a pretty easy pile out on his turn though. So I don't feel too bad about taking the tie there. Again, we have a fortress combo kind of board between mercenary and sacrifice. An inheritance would not be bad here, but it is going to be sort of hard to get to with being attacked, I think. Unless you just get lucky. So I'm not all over that necessarily. But it could happen with a horse traders, I guess. So I think I'm gonna head towards just trashing the estates. Still have a chance at collision. I think I'll buy a fortress here. If we don't collide, then I will buy a third urchin. 5 cobbler is pretty nice here, actually. I would have taken a cobbler if I hit 5. For sure. I get collision, which is better than getting cobbler. I will still take the third urchin. He's just gonna buy a native village here, I guess. If he wants to buy anything, I think he just has to. So, if I do draw coppers here, I'll buy a cobbler. Otherwise, it'll be a ghost town or a fortress. Odds are it ends up being a ghost town, but odds of it being a cobbler are slim. Odds of it being ghost town pretty good. So anyway, I'm glad to attack him for sure and get the trash in. Of course, I would have loved to have trashed an estate instead of what I did, but him racking up native villages is super not scary, I guess is the way to put it. I don't know if at this point I need the second mercenary with 2 trashes already in. I mean, you get money, right, when you have fortresses, so it's okay to do it anyway. As long as you have a lot of fortresses, they're pretty good to have regardless. If I find, I think I'm gonna actually, I guess the only really bad draw would be if I found, or the only reason not to keep Ghost Town would be if my top 2 are Cobbler and Mercenary. Then that would be somewhat sad, but he's getting caught up here a little bit on the Mercenaries. Which is so far happened. Hope it's not Cobbler. Okay. I'm not gonna go for a 3rd one yet. I like having some amount of cantrip hanging out. I don't really know if there's any value here to me playing the, or excuse me, buying a native village. There are some ways to control what you hit with it. It's not great though for the deck. I'm gonna say it's better than nothing, though it's super not fantastic for the deck in general. I will get a second Cobbler. I'll keep the estate in case we find a mercenary. Pretty good on finding a mercenary. Actually, I think it's guaranteed, right, if I take a cantrip off Cobbler. So that maybe should have been a different trash there. To get 5, I need to, and I don't have to get 5 either, necessarily. I can get the second Cobbler on the next turn, maybe. A 3rd fortress would not be bad. I have to keep 1 copper around. So this is not really the place for the second Cobbler, to be honest, as you can see, partially by the hand, because I would rather stagger them. So my next turn is going to be a little cruddy. I guess I'll get a horse trainers. I'm not sure I exactly have the draw for it yet, but probably. Native village really does kind of suck. Definitely Cobbler. I could get a sacrifice. get the horse traders next turn. That's a little more robust, I think. Buy maybe a third cobbler. I don't mind building up a little overbuilt and a little slowly here, I guess. As long as I stay out ahead of him. I can toss the native village if I'm gaining a sacrifice. Or the urchin, either one. It's not especially matter. He's got quite a few cards on his map. I don't know if that really matters, but I'll get my ghost town, get my sacrifice. He got his second cobbler. I will go for my third cobbler now. I'm probably fourth the next turn. I don't know if I can justify a fifth cobbler, but I was about to say something that would have been jinxing me. What I was going to say was that if I can take another sacrifice and sack the native village because it sucks. That's a thing I can also do. I really wanted to get some economy this time, but of course, if I don't find the double fortresses, that's also a problem. I am going to do it because I hate this native village. So unfortunately, this won't get me to my whatever number cobbler this is, my fourth cobbler. Ghost Town kind of sucks too. I mean, it's just hard starting from a 3-card hand. The draw is not big by any stretch. I gained another sacrifice. Do I need, I don't need the, well, the urchin. I guess I can kill the ghost town and get another mercenary maybe. There's not a horse traders out of play. Well, so here, what am I gonna cobbler for? 2 fortresses or something? I don't think it's gonna matter. I do need to get to $8. I don't think there's a huge incentive to keep playing this slowly. He is, I assume, trashed out too. Yeah. I need some money. I need another silver equivalent. So either I can gain an urchin. Either I can gain an urchin for my fourth mercenary. Oh, I don't need a silver coin. I have this horse traders. I guess it just depends on if I want to build up more. Fifth cobbler seems so excessive. I mean, I might get one on the next flip if I can. This will probably be gaining sacrifice. Of course, the thing to do will be to gain islands later on. I don't know that I'll actually get a use out of this second horse traders. It's going to be, well, I overdrew quite a bit last turn, I guess. If priest were on this board, I tell you what. then we'd be playing with fire. We'd be making around $1 million a turn. We wouldn't have the buys to support it, actually. Yeah, you actually couldn't do the priest mega turn really here because the buys would be too expensive. Though the priest would still be good and it would just produce just gobs of money. It would be easy to double province at least. That would maybe be the way to think about it. So he's finishing the fortresses up, which I think is perfectly reasonable thing to do. I really like my sacrifices. They're doing good work for me all throughout. don't know exactly what I have left in the deck. This order may make it so that I don't get something done. It does not. I still get to play everything. So it's all good in the end. So he got 6 fortresses, which I guess is good. The only thing that I might have wanted to do is do a farmland for something. This will be Sacrifice Island for my cobbler gains. It may be worth getting, I don't know if it's worth getting to double province. I mean, like on my finishing turn, it might be a thing to do. It wouldn't be bad to, say farmland a fortress into a gold or something. Or just into another farmland and have that option. Eventually we will probably run into an issue where we draw a bad opening hand. Though I think between the cobblers we can probably rescue most anything. Maybe it would just not be an ideal opening hand. We might have to take 2 sacrifices or something in order to make it work. Oh, he didn't. Oh, gains inertia, okay. Yeah. Oh. I don't think he can double, so. Of course, on the last turn I'll have more flexibility with trashing cobblers and stuff, so should help a little bit. We're gonna have so many sacrifices in the deck. Any fortress opening hands are gonna be super good. We're not quite to like a pile out, though we're getting closer. I doubt we get to that point. But. I guess that lets them start with a fortress. Yeah, I haven't really been looking to. I should probably look for that this turn. See if there's a way to trigger the shuffle to get the fortress on top. Should be possible. Shouldn't be too hard anyway. I don't think. Yeah, as soon as we go down to 2 provinces, I'm gonna be able to double. I mean, of course, he has some chance of doubling at some point as well. I'll take a sacrifice and an island. Boy, I have a lot of sacrifices. They are pretty cool. I'm not quite seeing how to make this make this dream come true. I mean, I can make it come true, sort of. Basically, I can have, I guess the question is whether I want to have, well, we'll just do it this way. I mean, it's not quite correct. Well, we've got fortresses in hand, so that's all good. It just means we go hog wild on sacrifices. Sorry about that. All right, so I need one more win to clinch. 5-2 is not that great here. I would much prefer to do a dungeon bridge opening, I think. So unfortunately, I guess, or maybe not unfortunately, maybe unfortunately is not the word. Your bridge mega turn is a little bit harder to do because your village is a debt card. So it's not like you just buy up I mean, you still play that deck, obviously, but it's just a little trickier. But I would still prefer the 3-4. I would rather, like, I guess he has the same thing, so we're in the same boat. I'm not sure if you open Legionary or one of the smithies. Or you can just open Bridge too. I mean, that's fine. Legionaries, I guess probably do Patrol. I was thinking Patrol is Journeyman, but it's Patrol. And Patrol is like the very best of the... I guess there's only 3 of them. I think of Catacombs, Patrol, and Journeyman as being in a sort of category together of smithies. And I think Patrol is the best one. Not that that especially matters, but anyway, he takes a Patrol and I agree, so I'm gonna follow. He draws his Patrol, which is really nice. I'll take a dungeon here. You can expedition a lot. One risk with expedition, or one problem with expedition, is that you're just not getting your action count up, which you need to do to make the city quarters work. But this is a great draw for him. And even if I find my Patrol in my 6, if it's not bomb decked, it still is going to be, it'll be fine. I mean, it won't be bad to get to play it. It's not like it'll be a bad shuffle or anything to trigger. Most likely it'll just clean up the next hand. He buys a gold. I think you do want to get the Legionary attack going on. And certainly having money is going to be useful to pay off this city quarter debt, which you are going to need to acquire. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets his Legionary here. And then I would, as him, maybe just really hit the city quarters for a while. Dungeon has some problems with Legionary, but I think it will probably help you overall. We'll see. He gets a death card. I don't. No, he buys a city death card. He didn't buy a death card. City quarter is also fine. I think should be fine. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Legionary while I have the. And assuming I don't draw 2 estates here, I will be able to buy a gold, which I think I'll just go ahead and do. He keeps on the city quarters, which is fine. It's it's fine. I don't know what else to say. I don't think it's bad. I'm not sure it's the best thing, but I don't have any super high confidence of what the best thing is to do here. I'm certainly just gonna buy them for a while. That's pre-rotten, and then I'm going to hit him with Legionary, which won't help him much. May not hurt him, but I will buy a bridge after this city quarter, I think. I mean, it's not bad to just keep buying city quarters either. This is going to trigger a shuffle, which may or may not be good for him. Probably not good for him. This could be bridged now, but I think another city quarter. This is a nice hand. I guess he didn't find an action with that, so I don't once he got the gold, it's a little strange to not hit the Legionary next and instead do the city quarter. This is really gonna hurt him. And I think I will take a bridge now. Again, it could just be a city quarter, but I think I'll go with the bridge. Surely he'll buy a Legionary here. The attack's just really brutal. Yeah, I agree with those. They're fine. hopefully he doesn't find it. That's not great. I guess on my turn I could have bought like a dungeon with the bought something else with the city quarter. Probably would have been worth it, but too late now. Just dungeon to make sure your city quarters start okay. Oh, fortunately I get the last city quarter, so that's awesome. I don't know how to do this patrol city quarter sequence. The patrol could easily fail to draw any actions. Well, it's not that likely. Okay, so I get to boost this city quarter a little bit. Where's that legionary? Oh, that's a bummer. But it's all still nice. So I'm gonna go with dungeon and last city quarter. So I think I won that split. This is a nice opening hand for him. He'll draw a deck here. I maybe didn't win the split, but at least tied it. I certainly don't mind having the dungeons that he doesn't have. He of course draws deck here. I mean, I kind of have to do it this way, although I'm not. It's not necessarily going to work. We need more patrols and just more actions in general so that the city quarters hit a little better. So like sages are not super good, but they're okay. Caravan guards, not great because they leave the deck. Expedition buys. Wait, expedition doesn't work. Okay. I don't know about. Oh, this didn't help at all. Well, let's see if he draws here. No, he didn't. Okay, so I'll draw deck. I guess 2 dungeons a turn is not that bad. Really. I don't think there's a way. There might have been a way to do it, but I don't think now. 1, 2, 3, 4. I did win the split. Well, there might be a way. No. Well, yeah, there might be. If we're willing to not. There is a way to try and do it. So we will take that shot. We did not hit it. It was just 50-50, so it's okay to miss these things. It might be better to have a patrol than a second bridge. I don't know. The real nice opening hand is like city quarter patrol is to leave as your 2. Hopefully he doesn't have any more draw. He does, so he's going to attack here. can double province. I mean, 3 province lead on this board is not bad. I can switch to wild hunts if I have to. If I think he's going to stall, which he may or may not, I don't know. I can also, of course, just be up to a point where my bridge powers are better. This is going to end really sad. Okay, so not so sad, but still probably sad. We'll draw through here now. There's no real guarantee this one will do better. Okay, so I don't really feel the pressure to green yet. I can't say. Though maybe I should have. I think I probably am playing this a little bit too much like there's trashing. I mean, I think this is quite a crummy draw for me, but they're going to happen some. Hopefully he doesn't make it around. Okay, this is good. So I'm going to see 4 cards, though. Just with this amount of non-actions in the starting hand, it's going to be a little hard to kick off regardless of what I see. Well, unless I see like 4 city quarters. Or a city quarter and a patrol. That wouldn't be so bad. But so far, no actions. It's going to be like one save. This is interesting. Going to get the other dungeon plan, although it's likely to. That is really weird. I've got a lot of city quarters down in the bottom here. Like a whole lot. So hopefully he doesn't attack, though probably he will. Well, that's okay. I'm surprised he's not playing the patrols first at some point in here to try and make sure he gets the This is going to be a little tough. He can triple province here. And he ought to. Now I have to catch up on duchies. He can like triple province bridge. Or dungeon. I mean, he can kind of lower these piles, and my last turn was just so abysmal. I don't know if the patrol play should happen yet. Like 4 or 3 draw city quarter is pretty good. Now we're getting a little bit. Maybe I'll just save it for the last one. This will draw something. Six buys, three duchies, that's not enough. So we gotta attack. I thought I had another dungeon. I guess I never got it. I would have got that other than the sage. Rather than the sage, I should say. So I don't think the wild hunt bid is gonna work. I think he's got a dud now with 2 dungeons, and he's got 2, and I've got to catch up on the duchies. I think that's pretty much it. I might be able to take 1 province because I think, I mean, him getting to 7 provinces, I'm not going to catch that. So 1 province is okay. Because if he doubles, I just lose anyway. This is, I'm not even going to draw on my turn. I probably built a little too long. I don't know how much of a difference it would have made. That dud was just killer. Oh, he's gonna draw for sure. That's super nice for him. Even if he doesn't draw, he's gonna if he doesn't get to the bridge, he still is gonna like attack me. But I assume he just has the win. Not quite the win. I mean, it is the win, right? It's half VP basically. Unless he just fully stalls. Now I do have to buy Wild Hunt, I think. Because I don't think the estates cut it. I can score 15, right? That's just 36, so it's not good enough. Gotta play with patrol, even though it has a reasonable good shot of failing. This is an okay hand so far. At least we got to the attack part and some gains. Actually, we got to almost everything despite sort of a cruddy. I guess I can expedition in hopes that he is whiffing on the. I mean, what does he has to like super whiff, right? Did he get? He got 1 dungeon down. How many buys do I have? 6 buys. I need 7 of the estates to win. Is that right? How many of the estates do I need to win? I guess I could take a tie again. That's not helping me that much. At this point, a second tie. Or play for a tie again is what I mean. So like double estate. Then if I get 6 buys next turn, I need to score 13. He can also buy an estate, right? So I have to hope the game lasts longer than this, actually, even. It can't possibly work unless he has 0 money after his turn's done. Right? Unless he's just literally $0, which is not possible. Like double wild hunt scores a little bit more. I'm just gonna totally dud anyway. Well, more likely he's gonna just end it. Oh, I like the advance, that's cute. So that's one for him. I had one dud. He played it clean, for sure. I mean, that's what you do. You gotta press the green when your deck can't build as much, so I did not manage to finish it there. Okay, so we've got dominate on this board. So I can open Silver Masquerade, which I think I will do. I mean, I got it more or less just to, fortunately I end up with one debt going into the shuffle, and he probably doesn't, but I don't know what else to do about it. Maybe it's better to take the Masquerade, I don't know. the Masquerade first. If he has like a 5-2, there's some arguments to that. Since that's the one you really want. He doesn't have a 5-2, so it didn't end up mattering, but we'll see if this deck costs me a 5. It does not. Doesn't really hurt me much at all. It did cost me a 5, never mind. So Wisps wouldn't be bad here, though they also wouldn't be incredible. This is going to be a tricky board to play, I think. It may be my second sad stables times in this game. I'm not particularly worried about whatever he taxes. I'll buy gold, I think, if I get there. Maybe a giant. You want throne rooms. You do need treasures if you're going to place draw stables on copper treasures, so you'd probably end up with a reasonable number of golds here. Don't want to play too heavy on the stables. Would really rather do throne room on Grand Market and Blacksmith, but I like a stables at the start for a little more acceleration. Exorcist is not bad to get an imp from my mask. I don't know that I'm not going to necessarily play with 2 masquerades for the whole game. So there is something to be said for buying an Exorcist somewhere instead of the second masquerade. I'm not as particularly worried about that placement there. gonna need it, so. This was a sad draw, of course, but sometimes life's sad. Assume he'll give me an estate back now. Let's get this other silver. So I'm up to Grand Market money if I can draw it all together. Stables bottom 2, that's not great. So he might get to his Grand Market here. So he has the 2 golds. No, he didn't. Okay. I did not either. There's certainly come a time where the throne room's just better than the stables, but I don't think we're trashed enough for that. He does get his GM there. I have a okay shot of doing it myself. I do. I feel fine-ish about the state of the game right now. I don't feel good, I wouldn't say, but I feel fine-ish. Do I have another stables? No. Okay. This is sort of a cruddy draw. Oh, it's okay. It's just 1 card. I have to see how much money I've made. So I could buy silver. Silver is somewhat questionable. But as I said, if we are going to, well, we've got the stables. We're stuck with the stables, so that's not going to change. That was a bad turn for him. He buys the stables. Wasn't like a game-losing turn or anything like that, but wasn't good. So I have to think about, what do I got here? This 9 again. I mean, at some point we gotta get thrones. Like, there's no question about it. If he gets to his masquerade, this is gonna be a tricky one. Which he's probably getting to it. This could really end badly, but I just don't feel like I can pass any of that other stuff. I mean, this is easy to end badly. There's lots of outs, or lots of bad draws. Mask, throne. There are lots of good draws too, but I guess it's like 3/4. If I've counted them all correctly, which I don't know that I have. Mask, throne, and the Grand Market doesn't. Oh, and stable. No, I just have all the stables are in hand. The throne, the other Grand Market doesn't really affect the count, so it's more like 3 out of 11 than 3 out of 12. All right, we didn't burn, and past that, it wasn't really possible. I will try and find the throne room, which I will succeed at. What did he buy? 2 throne rooms, that's good.
This can be double thrown grand market. This is sad. He's not as clean as me, so maybe he won't draw. Alright. I'll take it. It doesn't really matter for action, so we'll just throw in the grand markets. Apparently it did kind of matter. That was a super rotten draw, but whatever, that's life. He may have to pass me something good, I don't know. Well, he did have to pass me something good. It didn't matter for actions, but okay, so I got a stables out of that exchange and didn't really get made sad in any way, which was weird. Though my hand, of course, is just to have like not enough treasure. I probably should have trashed the masquerade when I got it back. But too late for that now. So the stables are in a pretty precarious position. I think a gold wouldn't go amiss at this stage. Gold. Could go gold grand market, throne, blacksmith. I wonder if I shouldn't have passed him that copper. I don't know. He might have still drawn on anyway. He's still not really drawing deck. I'll probably pass him the masquerade with my masquerade. It could rescue him, I guess, in some situations. So if we have any extended greening phase, it's going to be so ugly. It's going to be so sensitive to your starting hand. We're not really in range of an estate pile out yet. With my dad, all I might be able to throne and dominate, which I will do if that's the money I have. But what did I have last time, like $19 or something. So I'm, in theory, I added $7 though, so I might be able to do that. I guess I just lost a little bit too. I didn't throw in all the grand markets in the previous turn either. So anyway, there's still some increase in cash I can potentially get. It's such that I think it might be possible to do throne and dominate on my turn. Maybe even grand market and dominate. So he's going to go ahead and dominate. I think that's perfectly reasonable. Then I'll go ahead and play the old Royal Blacksmith. There's the actions. Now I gotta think about this Masquerade pass. I guess I'm gonna give him the Masquerade, though in theory it could rescue a dead hand. I'm not sure on the copper count. How many stables? 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 stables, and we have right now we have 7 treasures. We're not even really playing all the stables, so that's not a huge deal. It might be worth it to just trash his stables. Let's just keep everything. I mean, it's a lot more stop cards than I really want to play with, but the throne rooms start getting a little scary. The number of throne rooms. Though, like here, it's pretty nice to have in an opening hand to have 2 of them. If I already thrown all the grand markets, I probably can't double dominate. Our pile gaining has been so spread out that I didn't really check. He can't end it on those 3, I don't think. 10, 20, no, that's like $30. Maybe he can, I don't know. If he can, then I guess I'm just out of luck. But I'm sure he has the buys for it. It's just a question of the having the gains for it, or not the gains, the money. It's $30. I don't think you have $30 or anything close to $30 last time. He didn't draw his deck though. I might be at double dominate because I paid off a lot of debt, didn't I? And still bought 2 thrones and a thingy. So I might be to double dominate now. Which would be good. I'm not sure exactly where he is. He might be kind of close to that. He'll die if he's at 30. He's not 30. I don't know how many coppers he has. There's only, there's still 5 out there running around. I think I have a couple right now, so maybe it's 3. One of those cards is a province. Maybe I just have one of the coppers. I played several last time though, didn't I? I played 3 of them, so 2 of them are coppers. Okay. So then, he could just buy a province. I don't think I have 32. That would be the question. Then buying a province would be a little bit risky. Well, it would be game losing potentially. I'll have to actually be careful on my dominates. He buys a gold. Probably the masquerade pass for me was not so smart. I could have just trashed the masquerade and got on my deck if I thought it was a liability in that way. Because he's low on draw, and it would have been nice to kind of keep him lower on draw. So far he spent 20. So he had $24. Now he's up to $27. $29. So he's not actually pile out range yet. This is going to be the saddest. I'm going to draw 2 throne rooms off this second masquerade play and just cry. Okay, that didn't happen. Very nearly did though. And I'm still somewhat likely to dud. I don't think I can risk it, although maybe it lowers my cash a little bit. I'm not sure. I may still have enough thrones to throne all the grand markets. Yeah. I have a lot of throne rooms. Okay, so he can't quad province. He can triple province though, so I can't really double dominate. That loses. I can very nearly quad province. I was at 29. Okay, so yeah. Did he get to 30? I think he didn't get to 30, so he can't empty piles. This is a hard one to play right. Because if you lower piles, you might open up a win for them. Gold Royal Blacksmith isn't actually increase my threat all that much. Or really at all. I'm leaving so many stables unplayed. This is not ideal. Double gold would allow me to threaten triple province. Or quad province, I mean. You can fight these things with taxes too. Which is kind of weird. I don't even know if that's good or not. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to pass him a gold here. okay, but it's alright because this turn sucked. This is a really weird game. I mean, I'll feel good to have gotten in the double. If I can double dominate, then I'll feel fine about my chances. Pretty much regardless of what he does here. Assuming I can do the thing I just said, which is far from guaranteed. Okay, maybe it should have been the something else. Let's see what he has to give me. I still have the other masquerade, right? So that's not so bad. This may just dud. No. Okay. Anyway, I played that turn really stupid. So I got a count here. I might be able to just win. I have 16. I need $17. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 11, 12, $15. So I guess I'll pass him the stables. See what I get back. $34. Okay, so that's exact win, or not exact win, one more. He should have taxed the provinces. That was a tough one. A lot of tough boards, really. Quite tough. I felt really challenged by all of them, really. So. Thank you all for listening and watching, and I guess tune in for my next match sometime next week. See you later.